Catherine's Plate. I'm Catherine. Thank you so much for coming to my show today. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're not a subscriber, welcome. And please hit that subscribe button down below with the bell notification so that you know when my shows are posted. Today is Vlogmas Day 16 of 25, and I am doing Wrap 'em Up Appetizers 3 ways. Right? I'm going to be using some, look at this asparagus here, fresh asparagus. And I'm also going to be using some whole green beans. These are fresh, and I just blanched them a little bit in some salted water. Alright y'all, I'm going to be using some bacon, some prosciutto, and I'm also going to be using some puff pastry on one of these, and you'll see. Right, and then I'm going to make a nice aioli that you can dip any of these into. Alright y'all, ready to go? Well, let's start with our first one, which is going to be the green beans sweetened bundles. Alright, well, let's go. So we are going to start with the green bean sweetened bundles. Y'all, these are so good. What I'm using, I've got fresh green beans. Now I've blanched these just in some boiling salt water for about 10 minutes to kind of soften them up a little bit. I've got bacon here. Now it's just out of a package, any kind of bacon that you want. I just cut it in half, so we're working with half pieces. And you just want to base that on how many bundles you want to make. I've got some melted butter. This is about half a cup of melted butter. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of brown sugar. This is going to be the glaze to go on top of this. Alright. Alright, we're going to go ahead and mix this all up and have this ready. Alright, so I have greased a 9x13 baking dish here, and I've already started with one little bundle right here. I don't know if you can see them. And I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to show you how to fill the rest of this up with them. The first thing you want to do is take your half a piece of bacon and lay it down. And you're going to take about 7 green beans. 5, 6, 7. Alright, you're just going to take your bacon and you're just going to kind of hug it. You're going to flip it over so that the seam side is down into your baking dish right there. Alright, so now on top of the bundles I'm going to go ahead and add my brown sugar butter mixture here. We're just going to coat. Alright, now what we're going to do is I've got some garlic salt here, and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit on each one. Alright y'all, I'm going to go ahead and put a layer of tin foil on here. So this is going to go into the oven preheated at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. Alright. Alright, so for my second Wrap 'em Up appetizer, I am doing a prosciutto-wrapped asparagus, and there's going to be some Parmesan cheese involved. Alright, so the first thing you want is a very thin prosciutto. It comes in a pack like this, and I mean it is like almost paper thin, okay? Paper thin there. Some fresh asparagus, grated Parmesan cheese, and some olive oil. Now to prepare your asparagus, you want to just wash them under cold water and then just dry it off, which I have done here. We want to take the ends off of these, so you want to pick up your asparagus, you want to hold it on the root end there, and then just kind of snap it. Let it snap where it wants. Alright, so that's the good part right there. And then we'll just do away with those. Alright, so you just take your asparagus, bend it until it breaks. Alright, so I've taken a piece of my prosciutto there and I've just cut it in half, and what I want to do is lay it on my pan here. Alright, I'm going to take my grated Parmesan cheese here and just kind of sprinkle it on top here. Alright, now my asparagus is very thin, so we're probably going to use about 4 pieces. Yeah, that's perfect right there. Alright, so we're going to lay it on one side right here. Then we're going to pull the end over it and then just roll it on a slant. There we go, just like that. All right, so I'm going to move that down. All right, so I'm going to put my other piece right here. We'll lay that right there. Sprinkle some cheese on it. All right, we've got about 4 pieces there. And lay it on one side. And then just roll it. Alright, the next step that we're going to do after you've wrapped up your bundles of asparagus is we're going to drizzle each one with a little bit of olive oil, and then we're going to put a little bit of pepper on top of those. Alright y'all, so these are done. I'm ready to put them in my oven under broil for 10 to 15 minutes, alright, until the crispness that you desire on these. Alright, so now we're going to start on our third wrap 'em up appetizer, and I'm going to be wrapping up some asparagus in puff pastry. So for this, you're going to need 1 sheet of puff pastry, sesame seeds, some salt, asparagus, and I have an egg mixture here. It's just 1 egg and a little bit of water whipped together. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with this asparagus. Is that, okay, I've cleaned these and dried them up, and then what we're going to do is find the break point on it. So we're going to hold the root part and the end part, and we're just going to find the snap point. Alright, right there. That's the good part, and then we're going to do something else with those later. Alright, so I got some flour on my work surface here, on a clean work surface, and I've laid my sheet of puff pastry on here, and I'm just going to roll it out. Alright, so I'm just going to roll it out just a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead now and cut these into small strips. Alright, so we're going to take 2 of our asparagus here. It just depends on the size of them. If you have a large asparagus, then 1 is fine. I've got really small asparagus. They're very thin, so I'm going to group them together into 2. I'm going to pick up 1 of my puff pastry strips here and just put it on the end. And then I'm just going to wrap it around like a spiral, showing some of the asparagus through all the spirals there, like this. And there we go. And if you have extra at the end, you can just kind of tear it off there. Alright, then what you want to do is lay it on your pan here. Give them room to grow a little bit because that puff pastry will expand. Alright, so now that we're all done, I've got an egg wash here that consists of 1 egg and just 1 teaspoon of water that I've got just kind of blended together. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go ahead now and brush this egg wash onto my puffed pastry wrapped asparagus. And then I'm going to sprinkle some salt on it, and then we're going to put some sesame seeds on them. Alright. Alright y'all, I'm going to go ahead now and put these in my oven that has been preheating at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and we're just looking for a nice golden puff pastry here. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so while everything is cooking, I'm making my aioli sauce. So in my bowl here I have 1 cup of mayonnaise. I've got a 1/4 cup of green onions that I've diced really small. And then I have 4 teaspoons of some lemon juice, and I've got 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to go ahead and just mix that together. Okay, y'all, this is how my wrap 'em up appetizers 3 ways turned out. Oh my gosh, they are wonderful, y'all. Alright, we have the green beans sweetened bundles that I wrapped up with some bacon and then cooked with some brown sugar and butter. Oh, right. I have my asparagus that I wrapped up in small little bundles, wrapped up in puff pastry, and I have some sesame seeds on them. Over here we have bundles of the asparagus that I wrapped up with prosciutto, and then there was some grated Parmesan cheese in there also. Alright, to go with this, I made me an aioli sauce with the mayonnaise, lemon juice, salt, and green onions in there. Alright, y'all, put this on your Christmas table. Which one's your favorite? Alright, my husband already tried one of these, the green bean sweetened bundles, and he's like in heaven right now. Alright, y'all, thank you so much for coming to my show today. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment down below what you think. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you'll know when my shows are posted. Alright, y'all, I will see you on my next episode.